the show. How are you, Sean?
I'm doing well, my friend. Thanks for having me again. It's good to be back, and I'm ready to talk some Pittsburgh Steelers football. We got a lot going on. When I did a
Yeah.
little bit of homework last night, man.
There you go. Hey guys, there's Justin. Justin's sick, man. He passed out and stuff. So, like, Justin, I hope you're feeling better there, buddy. And we send you a bunch of well wishes here from us at Mike Drop Sports, my friend. We always
Yeah,
appreciate you coming through, Justin.
yeah. Get well,
Uh,
brother. Get well out there.
Yeah, no doubt, my friend. All right, guys. We are getting kicked off here today on Mike Drop Sports with some Kenny Pickett talk, things of that nature, roster stuff. We had last night's show where we broke down some salary cap, broke down some roster issues there. But tonight we're going to dive into some more stuff like that and amongst other things, some draft stuff. And also, as always, your live comments and chats and all that stuff, and we'll be appreciative to have your comments and hear what you guys are thinking as we move through the show. Again, this is Mike Drop Sports, and I'm Jason. That's Sean. And if you're not watching now, you'll watch it later. So we will dive right into some things here, Sean. And let's talk about Kenny Pickett, the distension going on inside of there. You had a little nugget you were talking about from Jerry Dulac. What did you hear that he had said?
Yeah, so Jerry Dulac, he posted an article this morning, and basically he's stating that the Steelers are not looking for a veteran quarterback to come in to the facility and do their thing. So they're basically not interested in Russell Wilson. So don't get all wrapped up in that hype. And also Justin Fields, they're not showing much interest in him either, which I think is a good thing, you guys, because I don't think those guys are the answer for sure. But he also stated that. Kenny Pickett's going to get another shot this year. He's going to have a nice quarterback battle, hopefully with Mason Rudolph, and also don't count Mason Rudolph out either. There's a lot of hype going on around these guys' names, but the Steelers seem to be wanting to keep these guys around.
Yeah, no doubt. And then you hear that from Jerry Dulac, a guy that's usually pretty accurate on his assessments of the Steelers, pretty connected guy. Um, you know, we'll take that how it is. And everybody keeps that seems to be the reoccurring theme. Kenny Pickett going to get that next shot next year in 2024. Again, guys, put that in the chat if you're down for that. Again, you hear that report from Sean there saying that Jerry Dulac, the Steelers insider, given the information of, hey, the Steelers aren't interested in these guys. Truly, they're truly in love with Kenny Pickett. They want to give him another chance, and we'll see. What do you guys think how that will pan out? And that leads us into the next thing. Where does that leave Mason Rudolph? Is he going to get that contract offer from the Steelers? Have they already really given him a contract offer? We were talking last night with Nova Racer about those types of things, but we had talked about, and he had said that today that guys like Ike Taylor, guys that are in that building, were saying stuff about Mason Rudolph and how if the Steelers are truly going to try to pursue him and get him back in that building. So we'll see how that goes. There's some quarterbacks in the draft. You hear guys saying Bo Nix and things of that nature. Do you think it's wise, Sean? And have you heard anything that says like the Steelers are possibly going to get one of these mid-round guys, a Bo Nix, a Spencer Rattler, a guy that I mentioned last night, or Carter Bradley, just Milton, those types of guys. Have you heard anything like that, or do you think that it would happen?
I haven't heard anything that they're out there really seeking any of these younger quarterbacks out there. But what I have heard also coming from Jerry Dulac once again is that there is right now currently internal division within the Steelers organization about this Pickett and Rudolph thing. So it sounds to me like these guys are still trying to figure out which guy to roll with, even though they're kind of promising Kenny another chance, which is, I believe he'll get that chance through camp and everything, but he might get a few games. But yeah, it sounds like half of the higher ups in the Pittsburgh Steelers offices, they want Rudolph. The other half want Pickett. So there's division going on, and they got to get that figured out ASAP.
Right. Yeah, and then you mentioned division, and there's players that have been vocal, guys on that team, veteran guys on the team that have said, hey, we're backing kind of Mason Rudolph. That's basically what they're saying. There's guys on the team like Najee Harris talking about the structure, talking about the discipline. There is some distension in that team, man. You can feel it, and I'm hoping that it gets worked out this offseason. But you can definitely feel that the building is becoming torn between these guys. I was actually watching some Kenny Pickett highlights again from this past season. And then I turned specifically to that Arizona game. That was the game that Kenny Pickett played directly, I believe, after what was it? Was it the Bengals game? Yeah, I think it was the Bengals game, to where he had done much better after Matt Canada was fired. And he went into the Arizona game. What's up, JD? JD's in the building. Mark Malone's in the building. But I was watching those highlights, and I was watching Kenny Pickett a little bit, and I could tell a little bit of growth there, in that Arizona game. I could see it. That's the game he got injured. He had drove the team back down in the second quarter with about 7.5 minutes remaining, down to the 5 yard line with a nice throw down there to Freiermuth across the middle. He was starting to get his feet underneath him, and then that injury happened. Uh, are you convinced with what you saw from Kenny Pickett last season, what you hear from these players, wanting Mason Rudolph? Do you think, hey, if they don't get Mason, is it wise just to maybe pick up one of these guys in the draft? Maybe if you don't get Mason, pick up a guy in the draft and not even worry about a veteran. Just get any guy you can get in there that's serviceable for that third guy. Would you be comfortable rolling into the season with Kenny Pickett and another young quarterback from the draft?
I honestly would not be comfortable with that. I saw what we have with Kenny Pickett. I know it was under a Matt Canada ran offense, but what I'm talking about is his ability to stay poised in the pocket and not run out and be hitting his checkdowns every time he hears somebody coming up close to him or grabbing the side of his jersey. We need somebody in there that's not afraid, that can stand there, make the throw, and not only make the throws, but fire it with that true arm like a
Yeah,
cannon. Don't you got to fire it confidently, and I haven't seen that from Pickett, and I don't want them to get rid of Mason. And if they do get rid of Mason, then they should bring in somebody else,
yeah,
preferably higher in the draft pick, because we need a stud at the quarterback, and I don't have much faith in Kenny right now. I'm not writing him off. Maybe he'll come out here and do some great things with Arthur Smith, and I hope he does. But until
yeah.
then, I'm a believer with Mason, and I like what I saw,
Mhm.
and I hope they roll with that, brother.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Mark Malone says, I'd be comfy. Hope we can get Mason on a Trubisky like contract, though. That's the thing, guys, is what is I say Mason, we talked last night about 7 million to $10 million probably is the range Mason's in. But we were talking earlier, and I want I'm hearing too. What if somebody would come across and say 35, 45 million, some crazy shit to Mason Rudolph? You ain't probably got a prayer, because if I'm Mason Rudolph, I'm taking that payday. I'm not going to be loyal to the Steelers. I mean, come on, dude. I'm just taking that shit for sure. And like you said here, right now, there's some distension. There's Kenny Pickett alone in that quarterback room, man, right now. These guys on offense maybe aren't feeling the best with just Kenny Pickett being in that room, man. And I'm worried that it is going to cause some major, major issues, man, for sure. All right, guys,
Yeah,
hit that like button, man. We're talking Kenny Pickett. We're talking Mason Rudolph. We're talking just Steelers in general, NFL stuff in general. Anything you have comments about, put it in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking tonight, and anything that you want to talk about. Also, hit that like button for us and send it into the YouTube algorithm. That would be greatly appreciated, and truly, truly would appreciate it, guys, for sure. Yeah, JD puts, can the Steelers match any offer he gets? That's the thing. The Steelers are like $4 million right now over the cap. I got to say, guys, I know the cap is a big deal. It is a big deal, but it's a fictitious number in reality. If you really think about it, they can do a lot. They really can, and they can make some moves, and they're going to have the money that they need eventually. It's just going to take some time, and they're going to have to work through those issues. And Omar Khan's a guy that's pretty damn smart. He's been doing the cap for the Steelers for many years. He's going to be able to get that handled and get that taken care of. Um, I think they'll have 40, $50 million, maybe around there. And you got to sign your rookies and all that shit, like all the draft stuff. So, all right, guys, we're gonna move on a little bit as we go through here. And Sean was talking about the Kenny Pickett stuff. We were talking about new quarterbacks. Anything in the draft realm, Sean, that you're starting to like, that players that you're starting to see? We didn't get your insight last night on that when we were talking about draft and mock draft stuff. any players that you just want to highlight here that you have noticed?
Yeah, actually, there is. I was looking up some people that are coming into the draft this year for the 2024, and a name that stood out to me was Brendan Rice. Brendan Rice
Mhm.
played for, I think he was in Colorado, the Buffaloes, and then he went USC. But that's Jerry Rice's son, and we all know that what kind of legend Jerry was, and he probably, instilled a lot of those work ethics into him. The thing about Brendan is he didn't have a bunch of highlight reels or a bunch of stats for us to be wowed over, which I think would be maybe a good thing. Maybe this guy's a diamond in the rough because when he was
Yeah,
in Colorado for the 2 years, he only had 27 catches for 419 yards, and I didn't
yeah,
see anything about any touchdowns. And then he transferred over to USC, where he had 39 catches for 611 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was his first year at UFC. And then last year, which is the second year at USC, he had 45 catches for 791 yards and 12 touchdowns. So I'm seeing progression each year that he plays on the high
yeah.
levels, and I think that might be a good sign. And maybe you can draft him for a steal
Hmm.
later on in the draft because of those numbers. That's
Yeah,
just something to maybe look at and play around with.
yeah. Definitely, man. I like that. And he's 6'3", 210 pounds, the son of a Hall of Famer. He averaged 17 yards a catch. Yes, JD, 240 million. Yep, that's what the cap goes up to. But yeah, that's I don't know. I like those numbers. They're not jaw dropping numbers out there playing with Caleb Williams. But I really like that, Sean. I really like that look. Maybe a guy like that would be something that they could get in the later rounds. I'm not sure where his draft projection is. Do you know off by heart where the cap or where the mock draft guys are projecting him to go?
No, I haven't looked into his mock drafts or anything. I was just kind of reading about guys that might be like diamonds in the rough, if you will, and but I didn't look into what he's projected to be drafted at. I imagine it's going to be higher. Like I said, those aren't the best numbers, but we all
Hmm.
know that college that's not writing the whole tale here. So
No.
we'll
I'm looking
see.
it up right now, Sean. Brendan is projected by most outlets to be selected between the third and fifth rounds, but he could help his case with a good showing at the combine. Of course, we know that, and at
Right.
USC's pro day. And he's going to have one good variable at his pro day in USC, and that is being thrown to by Caleb Williams, I believe. Yeah, right. That's who it is. Yeah, and he's projected to go very high. So he's gonna have probably a good showing at his pro day and all that good shit. I like that pick. I really do, Sean. I think that would be a quality guy, especially if you can get him in the late rounds. That may fill a need for a guy like I was talking about, a slot type receiver, a third type receiver to go along with the trio that they have now. To keep Calvin Austin as that special type guy, that specialist type dude in the room. I do like that, man. Anybody else you got on there? Or that was just one that you wanted to highlight
That,
while we were
yeah.
doing this.
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
one I really wanted to highlight and bring up and run it by everybody out there in the Mic Drop Mafia. Let me know what you guys think too about Brendan Rice, man. Maybe you guys know a little something I don't, but I didn't follow his games or anything. But now looking into it and seeing that his progression that he's been making, it makes me kind of think, hey, this guy might be something.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, JD puts a good question in there. How do the undrafted players work? How I know it to be, how the undrafted free agents work. Uh, Unrestricted free agents are players with, or no, that's sorry. I'm going undrafted here. I wanted to give you the good answer, but I'll give you off the top of my head answer. Undrafted guys, if you're not drafted in the draft in April, uh, you have each team has a chance to reach out to your agent, to your representation, and ask you to come in, and they can sign you as an undrafted rookie and bring you into camp. And that has some different effects in terms of their contract and things of that nature, because they're not going to get like the every draft position kind of, I think nowadays has that guaranteed type money, that structure set up for first round picks and so on and so forth. So like undrafted guys are going to get that basic money. That's what Jalen Warren was. If you look up Jalen Warren's like initial deal, how he was an undrafted free agent, that's typically how those deals work. If you look at that, JD, if you like Google Jalen's his free agent or undrafted free agent type stuff, because that's how he ended up with the Steelers through an undrafted free agent guy or through the undrafted free agent train. All right, guys, hit that like button, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Also, we're here on Mike Drop Sports. I'm Jason. That's Sean. This is our live show for Saturday. Yeah, JD, he was a steal.
Yeah.
That's a good question before we move on, Sean. JD brought up a good thing here because it got my brain turning now when he said he was a steal. What about Jaylen Warren? What about Najee Harris? Najee Harris, you're going to have to exercise that 5th-year option on next year. What about Jaylen Warren? Would he be a guy you're comfortable with carrying the load as the number one guy if they don't keep Najee Harris, maybe keep Jaylen on the cheap? Or would you add to that running back room this offseason? Or do you think it's pretty full with two guys, Jaylen and Najee?
I think it's pretty full with Jaylen and Najee. Either one of those guys I'd be comfortable with running the rock up, full time. They're both capable of being full-time starters. I think we're blessed to have two guys just like them, and I think we're full. I think we should focus on other areas, and because these guys are going to be the ones that's going to carry our team, no pun intended. JD, I wanted to kind of answer your question too, about the undrafted players and how that works. Basically, when these guys come in as an undrafted player, they're coming in as an undrafted free agent, and that puts them on the reserve/injured list. And that's just for being a free agent signing. So it's kind of like a reserve, if you will. That's what happens with those guys.
Yeah, and they're eligible for the draft, but when they're not selected, and then can negotiate with any team. Exactly. That's good, Sean. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, brother.
Also, I wanted to talk about this before I forget, because I did just remember this. The Steelers guys officially announced their bid to host the 2026 or 2027 NFL draft. So all you guys that don't live in this area and don't live around the Pittsburgh area per se, maybe the draft can bring us all together and we can have like a mic drop damn reunion at the draft or something. I'd like to do a show from down there. That'd be sick.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be so cool. Hell yeah. But that's something to be excited about, guys, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Something to really, really get tuned up about, because I think that would be a super fun event. I think it would be a really cool thing to witness in person, live, go to that first round, even in the second and third round. Shit, I think it would be fun. And the only bad thing is you'd have to find a place to have it in Pittsburgh indoors. So because, April weather isn't very good in Pittsburgh usually. What's up, 24K? What's up, Mark? Mark Malone. I'd bring back the Jigbu dude as the third and a kick return. I like him too. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, that's what we're saying. Kind of keep it the same, man. I think that would be a good thing, Mark, for sure, man. I like that.
What's up, 24K? Thanks, brother.
Oh, hey, Jason. Hey, Sean. Hope you guys are well today. Yeah, man, we're well. Sean, you well?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you. I appreciate it, 24K.
No doubt. So, guys, too, I want to talk about this. I've been seeing, I'm not much for the big rumors and all that stuff, but I do like to talk about things. And we did talk about the draft yesterday, but I wanted to talk about the possibility of the Steelers trading up in the first round of the NFL draft. And this is, some are saying to go up and get Alabama offensive tackle J.C. Latham. Would you guys really like that? Because you would probably have to get up again to about the 17 range, 14 range, somewhere in there. Like, that's where you'd have to be. Would you guys be down for that? What about you, Sean? Would you be okay with the Steelers giving up a little bit of draft capital, maybe a player, who knows, whatever they have to give up, in order to move up a few spots? Again, they're at 20 again. Would that be okay with you in terms of your thoughts on this draft, to jump up and grab an offensive tackle like J.C. Latham out of Alabama?
Oh, absolutely. That guy is a stud, man. He runs a 4.8 40 time, man, and that's a real big guy running real fast. Put him over there on the right-hand side, and then you can throw Broderick Jones on the left-hand side, and that's where his comfort zone is, as we've been talking about. And Yeah, we get a stud
Mhm.
center in there. Boy, we might have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Yeah, I think that's a
Yeah,
great move, man.
yeah, dude, you jump up and you grab JC Latham. You're jumping teams that are in your own division. You're jumping the Bengals. And what are they going to be looking for, guys? Offensive line help. Why? Because they're paying Joe Burrow a shit ton of money. And now what do they got to do? They got to figure out ways to build through the draft. And what's the
Yeah.
most important position for protecting your investment? Offensive line. So they're going to
Yep.
grab a guy like JC Latham. So you're going to jump in front of guys like the Bengals and teams like that. And what does that allow for Roger Jones? That allows him to go back to the left tackle spot. It maybe eases things up with the Dan Moore Jr. dilemma. Maybe get him down out of the lineup. And maybe then you do go attack a Zach Frazier in the second round out of WVU, and you fill a couple big holes. One of my commenters, Jay Amy, he was saying that the offensive line doesn't have a lot of holes, that it's not bad. I'm not saying it has a ton of holes, guys, but I'm saying there are a couple, and I think yes, I know they're ranked decently high, mid level within the NFL in terms of statistics on the offensive line. But you got to put the whole package together, and a couple more pieces would really make this offensive line a formidable force, guys, for sure. What do you think about the offensive line, Sean? Do you think those holes need to be filled for sure?
Absolutely, dude, man. They've got to fix that. That's probably number one on the list. You got to fix that O line because, like I said, with Arthur Smith coming in and we got two great running backs, they're going to be relying heavily on that run game. Therefore, we're going to need one of the best offensive lines out there so we can go out there and do what we need to do and get into the postseason and take it far into the postseason, maybe even to the Super
Yeah,
Bowl. That's what we need to be
guys,
doing.
because Tomlin's on the hot seat, man. I don't care what anybody says. It's definitely evident. It definitely is evident to me, at least from hearing Rooney talk and hearing the organization just putting some things out there. Um, he has to be. And the organization is growing very, very, very impatient about not winning playoff games, guys. And if you're Mike Tomlin, you got to realize that this is the year you got to win one. Hey, JD, what happened to Chris Oladokin, quarterback? He is on the Chiefs practice squad, bro. Yeah, go figure. He won a Super Bowl this year. Uh, Owen, he says, I'm telling you, I still think we need Justin Fields, Jose Monclova, you can, Russ Wilson. No, Russ Wilson, that ain't gonna happen, guys. I don't think so. I don't think it's a reality. And I think the Steelers, like we were talking about at the opening of the show, Sean brought up what Jerry Dulac had said. The Steelers aren't in the market for old quarterbacks. And old quarterbacks like Russ Wilson, with the way he lives his life. He's married to a pop star. She's not going to want to live hanging down near Pittsburgh, man. There ain't nothing there for her to do. So
Right.
it is what it is. How about that though, Sean? Chris Oladokin. He's the guy now. He won a Super Bowl.
I can't
How
believe
about
that. I
that shit?
know.
Ain't
Hey,
that
man,
crazy?
good for him, man. He's got a ring already.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
That's
Yeah.
but that's
Since
like getting a participation trophy though, bro. Like he didn't go out there and do nothing for
yeah,
it though. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no doubt. What's up, Vincent Cardwell? I appreciate you coming back. 24K. Tomlin doesn't seem to be the most creative when it comes to calling uh, plays, I believe is what you're saying. I'm curious when the last time he called a fake punt or fake field goal. Yeah, so, dude, I haven't seen a fake punt or a fake field goal in a long time, and that's why I feel like the Presley Harvin thing was like kind of a wasted opportunity. A big body guy could throw the ball a little bit, guy that did some special things in college, and that kind of sucked. I can't remember one for a long time. Like I said, I think it was when Boswell got run the hell over.
Yeah, I can't remember one either.
Robert,
It's been a long time.
yeah, it has, dude. Robert Rhodes says, "Come on now, Pittsburgh is a cool city. I think it's a cool city, but I don't think Sierra would think it's a cool city in my eyes,
Yeah.
dude." All right, let's keep on moving with the show here. Vincent Cardwell, do you think Pickens will request a trade? No, I don't. I don't think so. He's on that rookie deal, man. He's got to tread lightly. You don't want to cause too many waves. He already had
Right.
a little run in last year. What do you think about that, Sean? Do you think somebody like Pickens gets so heated over quarterback play or not getting the ball that he would do something stupid like that?
I think if he did request for something like that, he'd be putting himself in the limelight that he doesn't want to be in. Like
Yeah.
Jason just said, the guy's he's a young, unproven wide receiver. Yeah, he's proven that he's got talent and he can make incredible catches, but he hasn't proven that he can go out there and make the Pro Bowl or carry the team and get us into the deep into the postseason. Now pending we have like a quarterback issue in Pittsburgh, but still, yeah, I don't think so, man.
No, I don't either. I don't either. Vincent Cardwell, do you or no, sorry, Nick Perez. Do you think you'll keep picking? Yeah, dude. Pickett is the plan in my eyes. After his contract, I'm not sure, Nick, because we're gonna have to see how these next couple years play out. This will be his third season as a Pittsburgh Steeler, and it'd be his second as the official starter if that's the case.
I
All
think
right,
this
let's
is it
kick
for
it.
him too. I think this is it. If Pickett doesn't do it this
Yeah.
year, I do expect the Steelers to move towards whoever is next, and hopefully that's Mason. But yeah, I think this is it for Kenny. He has to. It's make or break time.
Yeah, I think so too, guys. And you got to get in that 3 years. Kenny was an older guy coming into the league in terms of like college football years. He's gotten to be older, and he spent 5 years in college. It's like third year in the league. It's time to be ready. It's time to put up or shut up. And just like Sean said, I think if this doesn't work out this year, at least show some real promise. Maybe get to a playoff game, compete in that playoff game and possibly win at least and get out of the first round. I think you're asking for Kenny Pickett to be finally wear out his welcome in Pittsburgh. Robert
Absolutely.
Road. If they don't get Mason back, Russ at 1 million per year might be okay. The Broncos will be paying his salary. I hear what you're saying, dude, for sure. I just don't think the Steelers are interested in that older type quarterback because after this year, you still got to trade for Russ. And after this year, you're gonna have to pay. You're gonna be on the hook for a boatload of cash, bro. And how do you
Yeah.
uncover that, or how do you cover that cash up? How do you release him? How much dead money would that be? Is anybody going to be willing to trade for him if he doesn't do good? It would literally be, yeah, a $1 or $2 million gamble for this year, and plus whatever it took to get him. But then, damn, you're screwed if he doesn't work out. You're on the hook for big, big money, man. Do you like that Russell Wilson thing at all, Sean?
I'm not a fan of it. I really not. He's been in the league for a long time. He's kind of been beaten up, and one wrong hit with these older guys, and there goes that season. Then you just lost $1 million. I would stick with the younger guys. You got Pickett, you got Mason, and let them battle it out and bring in somebody else, somebody out of the draft. If anything, we got to get
Yeah.
a new young guy in the league. Can't go with these
Yeah,
older
you
guys
said
anymore.
that. Yeah, young, dude. What you just said, young. That's where the Steelers need to go. You don't want to get old guys, man, because it happens quick in the NFL, real freaking quick, man. Most guys in the NFL as players don't make it out of their first year or first contract, and that's just the reality. That's the statistics of how this all plays out for sure. Vincent Cardwell, the Ben and AB duo will be missed. They are missed. JD says, I think he stays with the Broncos. Yeah, that's a possibility. Robert Road, only if the Broncos release him, it would be 1 million this year and then the next, and then he wouldn't need to trade. Oh, okay, Robert. I wasn't exactly sure how it goes. I just know they'd be on the hook for a shit ton of money if they traded for him for sure. Okay. I get what you're saying. But the Broncos would still need to pay that, or they would pay that salary this year. All right. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying, dude. JD, he is 35 years old. I don't want a 35-year-old quarterback. That's why I'm not interested in the Kirk Cousins thing. I just
Yeah.
don't. What about you,
I
Sean? Are you into this old guy or what, dude? 35 too
no,
old?
I am. Yeah, I think 35 is pretty old for a quarterback. Look how Big Ben started playing when he got into his mid 30s. He was already on this downhill slope, and
Yeah.
each year it kind of progressively got worse and worse. That's where Russell Wilson's at right now, in my belief, my humble opinion. I don't want to go down that road again. I want to get somebody that's on the upscale, that's going up, trying to become the next superstar of the NFL. That's what we want.
I agree, dude. Yeah, I'm not down. I'm into getting young, man. I keep saying it. Sean keeps saying it too. I think that that's where we need to be. All right, guys, smash that like button for us here at Mike Drop Sports. It truly helps. if you ever want to help the show, go into our links section. We have some links there that you'd be able to donate, help to the show, help us progress. Also, super chats are cool too. Vincent Cardwell, when do you think we will go back to the AFC Championship game? I'm not sure. I hope this year. I hope in 2024. I hope so. Sean, what do you think? How far away? How far away? I know it's early in the year. I get it. I know we just had a tough season with that loss in Buffalo in the first round of the playoffs. But how far away do you think this Pittsburgh Steelers team really is now that Vincent posed that question?
I'm going to say next year, not this coming up season. We're gonna let this ride out with Mason and Kenny, whatever, this year, and then the following year, I can see that being the year we might get to the big game or the AFC Championship. There's just a few things that need to play out still. We're trying to fix those holes and find our key players still. It'd be nice to see him get into it this coming up season, but I say the 2025 season, it might be the year for them.
Yeah, I think they'd have to build. You're going to have to let Arthur Smith get in here, build up his offense a little bit, all that stuff, and figure out how this all plays out. Build that offensive line into what you want it to be, the run game, pick up a receiver, get that defense nice and healthy, and building back in a younger trend for sure. Somebody asked, who do we think they'll pick up in the first in the draft? I think they're going to go offensive tackle. I hope they trade up and get J.C. Latham. That would be awesome. Or I picked Talise, and I can't pronounce his last name right. I got corrected in the chat. I always call him Funga, and that's just because my brain is like that. But I know it's not. It's Fuaga. Fuga, I believe, is how that you say it. Fuga, Talise Fuga, I believe, but I'm not sure. Who knows? It's one of those weird things with me. Once I get it in my head, I can't get it out. All right, Sean,
Yeah.
who do you think they'll pick in the first round? Do you? I know who I think you're going to pick, but who do you think?
Well, actually, I just read the other day that they were showing interest in Zach Frazier out of West Virginia University, and that guy, he's also a stud center, and I think that that might very well be their first pick. The guy's great.
Do you think they'll take him in the first round, or do you think they'll wait till the second round for him?
God, that's the thing with the Steelers, man. Go ahead.
No, I was just asking because I said that they take Zach Frazier in the second round. You think that he's hot enough to get in the first round?
I think it's a possibility, man. I really do. I mean, of course, Jackson Powers Johnson, but I don't see him maybe sticking around till pick number 20. So if he was taken and they really wanted to be serious about replacing our center, I think the next best pick would be Zach Frazier.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if that's what you want to do, that would be picking for need. And maybe that's the way to go. I don't know, man. Hard to tell. I'm not sure how Omar Khan's going to take this, guys. I really am not really 1,000% sure because, dude, there's just so many variables in this, man, for sure, in the draft and all those things. Let's get back to some of the comments. Who do you think they'll pick up? We did that. Vincent Cardwell, we will probably go to the divisional this season. I hope they get out of the first round, the wild card round, and after that is a bonus for me. I think that they need to show some growth under Mike Tomlin, and that's just what has to happen here in the next few years is growth, or Mike Tomlin should be gone. You got to have a team that's on the rise, getting young. I mean, that's it. JD Fields and Wilson are just rumors. Don't want either one. No, guys. Yeah. What do you think, Sean, about this rumor mill? Who do you think gets this going? Agents, teams? Do you think it's just a combination of shit and they pump this into the national media? Or do you think it's just desperate national media people searching for clicks, searching for stories?
I think you hit it right there on the head. It's desperate media hype, man, that they just want you guys to click on the articles and read them. And they know that, we're going to click on them to read just to see what they're saying. And it's all hype, man. I don't believe any of it. I try to stick to the insiders like Jerry Dulac, people that are inside Pittsburgh, and they got the scoop. And these guys are saying Steelers are not interested in these guys at all, and that's what I'm gonna just go ahead and keep on believing right now. I'm not gonna fall for it, you guys.
Nah, me either. They are. JD's absolutely right. We talked about it, I think, a little bit yesterday too. These rumors get absolutely out of hand. I even heard a rumor today, but I won't even say it because it could be ridiculous. And I don't want to make this channel about giving you guys ridiculous information that doesn't end up being true. I'm not going to try to pump your head full of shit. Like, I want you guys to formulate your own opinions. And I feel like that's the best thing to do. We'll give you the news, we'll give you the information that's available, but I'm not going to sit here like some channels will tell you these are no brainer picks. This is it. I'm not going to do that for you guys. And some of these rumors do get out of control for sure. All right, let's move on. Rubber Road. If McCarthy or Nix is available, they could be picking round one. Penix Jr. is a day two because of the medicals. Yeah, I think they could. I hope the Steelers go back to doing just what the Steelers did last year, picking the best player available, and I think they did that throughout that draft. And they still were able to draft for needs and things of that nature. You got Joey Porter Jr. at a quality spot. Is that what you think the Steelers should do? That should be the mindset, Sean, in my eyes. But do you think that's the mindset? Or do you go pick needs only no matter what, even if there is a better athlete on the board? Do you just still pick for need?
No, you got to go with the best draft pick available. I think that's really important to do. We shouldn't be going for those, the need picks until later on, maybe sixth, seventh round picks or something like that, but up front, our first few rounds, let's see, 3-4 rounds, you got to go with the best player available.
Yeah, I agree. That's how I like to do it, man. Best player available, no matter where it is, whoever it is. You pick that best guy. That's just the way it goes, at least for the first 3 rounds, 4 rounds. I think that's how you got to go. And like Sean said, late, go ahead and pick a need if you have one, because everybody's getting pretty similar down toward that end. Nick Perez, do you think the Steelers will beat the Packers in the upcoming season again, or do you think Love would pull through? That was a good game last year. We'll see. Not sure. I like the Steelers. I'm going to pick the Steelers for sure.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Man. Me too, brother.
Yeah, Sean said Steelers too, man.
The Steelers.
We need about 3 solid picks that can stay a while. Yeah, no shit. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, the Steelers. They're really good about playing these guys like Jordan Love, Lamar Jackson, and keeping them in the pocket and trying to force them to throw the ball. And we got Minkah Fitzpatrick back there. And basically what I'm getting at is I think the Steelers play the Packers very well, and I would put my money on Pittsburgh also. I don't it's because of our defense mainly. We got a stud defense. We got TJ Watt back there rushing Love and making them run all over the place. And I love watching those kind of games. And that's why we beat them last year too. And we'll do it again.
Mark Malone said, yeah, I think they take BPA, center, tackle, cornerback, wide receiver. Yeah, they're going to take one of those, man, for sure, I would say, but they're going to take that best player available for sure. It could be a cornerback, guys. It really, really could. It just depends. They like some guys, for sure. Like Sean said, though, Steelers, man, they play a good brand of defense. I think they could get it done in Green Bay for sure. No doubt.
Yeah.
Vincent Cardwell. I don't know if I'm Tom, but I heard something about Tomlin leaving. That was the rumor before the season. Jay Glazer had reported, one of his buddies actually had reported that Tomlin was considering a move and getting out of Pittsburgh, maybe a possible trade to the Commanders. That ended up all being nonsense. Tomlin will be back for his final year on his deal in 2024 to be the head man in Pittsburgh. So we'll see how that goes. How do you guys feel about a 4-3 defense JD puts in there? I don't think that it matters anymore in today's NFL. I know that it does personnel-wise and how you build the defense. But I think that they play more sub packages than anything, to where things are so mixed up. It's all kind of like the same setup, basically, in my eyes. They just, like I said, they play a lot of sub packages, so I don't really think it matters to me one way or another. 4-3, 3-4, 3-4 is nostalgic. What do you think, Sean? 4-3, 3-4 guy. What do you think about that?
I personally like the 3-4 defense better. You got the 3 down linemen, you got 4 linebackers out there trying to confuse the quarterbacks, and the Steelers they play into that really well. And with Dick LeBeau, he used to run that defense, and he really did a great job of putting pressure on the other teams, and they still continue that to this day. Me personally, I'm a 3-4 fan, you guys, and I used to play football and that's what I played. I was a middle linebacker, and yeah, I was all about that
Yeah.
3-4 myself, brother.
3-4 is cool. Yeah, no doubt. And then you have those guys. But when you're playing a 3-4, you're putting that defensive end. That's what Cam Hayward is, a defensive end. That's what Larry Ogunjobi is, a defensive end. You know what I mean? And then you couple them with a tackle, a nose guard type guy. You had a Casey Hampton years ago that was able to plug up the run, things of that nature. But if you're running a 3-4 solely, that's your scheme. You got to be super athletic and more faster defense than some of the others. A 4-3, you could be more of a big guy type run stuff type defense if that's the way you're looking at it. Yeah, Vincent, that is his final year for sure. Hey guys, I was looking at some Steelers news while we were sitting here talking, but first I want you guys to go up and hit the like button and share this shit for me. Oh, excuse me. I truly appreciate that. A great, great deal. That would be awesome if you guys would do that. Go ahead and hit the like button. That helps us the most. More than anything that you can do for us is hitting that like button. So go up there to the top three little white dots, hit that drop down box, hit that like button for us, and that would be amazing. Uh, Also, let's talk about this. Former Steelers cornerback William Gay hired by the Washington Commanders. Ain't that cool? You're seeing a
Wow.
lot of former Steelers get jobs, dude. Randall L. Hines Ward has worked as a coach in numerous places, interned, all that shit. You see William Gay get hired. You've seen a lot of that. What do you think about that? What do you take from that, Sean, when you see a bunch of ex-Steelers getting coaching type jobs?
I love it, man. Good for him. That's another way to stay in the league and fuel your passion for the game. And I bet you he does really good. He was a good player, man, and that makes me happy to hear that we need more guys like that in the NFL. To carry on these older traditions that was in the Steelers locker room. I like it.
Yeah, no doubt. That's cool. Yeah, and I think people like that. I think they want to bring that Steeler way into their building. No doubt. Robert Road. Herbig needs to get snaps at inside linebacker. He is too good not to be on the field as much as possible. What do you think about that? I want to see Herbig on the field. I don't know how we would fare at inside linebacker. I don't know until we got the chance. But here's the thing. What do you think about him moving to positions at this stage of his career, Sean? Is it a little too early for that? Or do you think now Marcus Golden is going to free agency, so that leaves Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, and Nick Herbig? Do you think that allows him, with Marcus Golden gone, to move up the ladder to get more snaps at outside backer and be that pass rush type guy? What do you think about that whole situation with possibly moving him into the inside just to get him on the field?
You know, I would have to see him play on that position, but yeah, with Golden, leaving and giving him an opportunity to come in more, would obviously give him more playing time, and he's already shown that when he goes onto the field, he's a playmaker and he has an impact on every single game. I would love to see him on the field more. And you know what? The guy's he's been playing football his whole life, I imagine, and I bet he can play any position. And yeah, let's give him a shot. The guy, he's a playmaker. Why not?
Yeah, and that's what I was talking just a little bit ago. Exotic packages, sub packages, a lot of different types of formations out there, no matter what kind of base defense you're playing. Get him involved, man. We said it last season too, while the season was going on. Move him around and allow him to do some things. And I gotta say, toward the end of the year, every once in a while you would see one of those exotic looks. I noticed that anyway. I would see a different look from TJ where he would be lined up, or Alex Highsmith lined up. Just different stuff every once in a while, and you really had to be paying close attention to see it for sure. So I'll agree with
Yeah.
you, Sean. Get it up. Fuck it. Let him go. Excuse my French, guys. Bye, Vincent. We'll see you. Gay has Steelers record for pick sixes. That's cool. I didn't know that. Good stat, JD. I appreciate that. Robert
Uh,
Rowe thinks William Gay is going to be a head coach at some point. That's cool. I didn't know how he was doing inside of the coaching world. I haven't really been following. Let's go to the comment there. What are your guys' thoughts on Arthur Smith? I like him. I didn't at first. I think he is a quality hire. What says you, Sean?
I'm excited to see what he can bring to this team, man. Like I said, I love the fact that he's run heavy and he's good at mixing in the play action. I think that's what this team is built for, and it gets me excited that we're going to see a whole different kind of scheme compared to what we've had to deal with the Matt Canada playbook the past few years. So I'm myself. I'm happy, and honestly, I was pretty much going to be happy with anybody other than the Matt Canada thing.
Yeah, no shit. All right, guys, hit that like button for me. There's almost 70 of you here right this second that I see. I don't know if that number's accurate or not. Hit that like button for me, man. Get up there and hit them three little white dots and hit the like button to support us, please. That's the best way you can support us. Also, I've been seeing a little bit of Steelers news here. And one of former player Ryan Clark, a guy that has been controversial at times with his takes, a guy on ESPN, a guy with the Pivot podcast. It seems to be that he's going to be leaving maybe ESPN and not being a contributor to them anymore. What do you think about Ryan Clark there in his media life after football, Sean? Do you enjoy his takes? Do you think he's pretty honest?
I
Or do you think he spins into that national shit?
I think that yeah, he's kind of fun to watch sometimes because he gets emotional about his responses and takes on the Steelers. But I think he does get a little bit too wrapped up in the national media hype, and he likes to kind of play into these things a little bit too much. The only reason I like him is because I enjoyed the way he played the game of football, and he has a passion that he brings to the table when he's talking about football. And you get that player's perspective that he brings, which I really like to see on TV. But yeah, to answer your question, I think he plays into the hype a little bit too much.
Yeah, sometimes. And then he has his guests on there on that pivot. I don't know, dude. I'm down for that pivot podcast. I like it. I do. But sometimes I don't know. Sometimes
Drinking
it's
water here, you guys. I'm responding to Gustavo. It says make sure to stay hydrated. I got a flask here full of ice cold water. Thanks, brother.
I'm doing the damn do, boys and girls. Doing the do tonight, as you see me do all the time. Guys, hit that like button as we were talking about. Let's get back to the comments. JD, I like the run game and ball control. So Arthur Smith should be a good AC. I agree. I think that that's going to be a positive for the city of Pittsburgh for sure. And JD also said Clark was a good player, hard hitter, but flip flops on TV so much. I agree. That's what I was trying to say there without dogging Ryan Clark, because I do like him as a player. I thought he was a ferocious safety, guys. He'd come down and knock
Yeah.
your freaking head off. I love that. But man, I don't like fence riders, dude. I really don't. I don't like that. Just give your take and be done with it and live and die by it. Whatever. Robert Rhodes drinking some beer. Cheers to you, Robert, for sure.
Cheers,
I ain't
buddy.
seen our boy Beer Malls in the chat tonight. I wonder if he's out there. You out there at Beer Malls? I asked
Beer
you a question in
Malls
the chat the other day.
and
Yeah, Beer Malls is
Supernova
usually here.
or Nova Racer. Where's he at?
I ain't seen him. Maybe he had something to do. I was gonna too find another moderator here soon, so we have three. So in case people can't make it to the show. All right, is Le'Veon Bell coming back? Is the only thing that I need to know, Brian George. And I'm going to give you a big, astounding no, because he may get a 90-man roster chance, but I just don't think that Le'Veon Bell, being out of the league for a couple years, can come back into this NFL. It's just me, and he only wants to play for the Steelers. And are the Steelers willing to do that again? Are they willing to travel the Le'Veon Bell road again? That's a question for Art Rooney, and I don't think it will happen. But what do you think, Sean? Lev Bell or no Lev Bell?
Yeah, no Lev Bell, man. He already showed his true colors to us back when we had the Killer Bees, and he wanted to hold out and save his body and not give anything up for our team, for our championship, for us fans. He was all about himself, and guys like that, you do not want to bring him back into the locker room. It took years to clean that mess up, and let's not do that again. Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm not down. I'm not down. JD's drinking coffee and Monster. Go ahead,
Woo!
JD. JD, guys, hit the like button for me. There was almost 100 people in here just a second ago. Crack that like button for us here on Mike Drop Sports. All right, Nick, I don't think Le'Veon can play like he used to, especially since our O-line isn't as good as it used to be. It takes a different style of play on that offensive line too, guys, and I don't think a lot of people are taking that variable into account to run with a guy or, yeah, to block for a guy like Le'Veon, a patient runner. He's a different runner. He's not a downhill guy like a Jalen Warren, like a Najee Harris. That's not the style running that Le'Veon does, and it takes skills to do what they did to block for a guy like Le'Veon Bell. Everybody's
For real.
saying Le'Veon Bell's career is a rap from Robert Rhodes. No pun intended, because he's a rapper. Nick the Fox 72. NFL is just crap. Rugby. Discuss. I don't think the NFL's crap. I like rugby, though. I think rugby's cool, but I don't think the NFL's crap. I think it's headed down a terrible road with some of the things that they're doing rule wise. I hope they don't end up going toward a flag football league. What do you think, Sean? The state of the NFL now as we sit after the Super Bowl, are you still into the NFL like you used to be? Or is that love dying maybe a little bit with the way they've changed the rules, with the way they've went a little bit downhill?
My love for the game will never go away, but what I see with the NFL is kind of frustrating. Yes, it's hard. They're making it so these defenders can't hit anybody, whether you're a receiver or a quarterback. Now you got defenders coming up and they're stutter stepping because they're afraid to hit anybody in the head. So you got that ruins everything, in my opinion. It's going to ruin the stats. The receiver's going to have more touchdowns. They're going to have more yards. So guys like Randy Moss and Jerry Rice and all these guys who had to play through all the hard hitting and the hard knocks without any rules to protect you, they're going to get overshadowed someday by all these new rules that are coming in. And that is what's ruining. That's what's getting ruined. And yeah, it's not quite as fun to watch a sport where they're worried about protecting the offensive players, but not worried about the defensive players. And it's ruining the game. But I'll always love the real original game of football. And we're just going to have to adapt, or maybe rugby at you guys. And me, myself, I choose to adapt. So hopefully you guys can go with me.
Here. Yeah, I agree with what you said. A Bengals fan in here says that he hates the Chiefs more than the Steelers. That's really hate them. Terry Bradshaw saying, JD says he saw Terry Bradshaw say he would wish they would go back to old school football. I appreciate that too. We're going to talk about that more here in 1 second. Denise Marie, Sean's sister. Yeah, smash the like button. Thank you. Come on, everybody, if you're in here. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate when you guys are in the chat and you say that too. That helps us out a great deal because, guys, honestly, that is the best way to help our show. That spreads us around. It really is. It isn't about money. It isn't about any of that shit. It's about the likes. It's about spreading the message and getting a lot of like-minded individuals in here that just enjoy talking about football, that just enjoy being real and not hearing the national media bullshit that tries to get shit pushed down your throat. But let's get back to this topic about the NFL and about it being soft and about them changing the rules. I think there's a fine line between player safety and taking the oomph out of the game a little bit here, man. Do you think they're going overboard, Sean? I know you just said some of these rules sometimes get a little bit crazy with these safety things, or do you think that they are doing the right things to protect players and maybe need to figure out how to adjust to get back to a more old school, more physical game in a different way? Or that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to figure out how they do that, and I'm not sure how you can stay with safety but yet still be physical. Do you have any answers for that?
Yeah, my answer is what they're doing is not the answer. You gotta keep it the same. We were taught from a young age when you go out there and you play the game, you got to learn how to protect yourself and play smart. So, that means if you're a wide receiver and you're going up in the air to catch a ball and you know the safety's coming over to light you up, it's up to you to make that catch or to not make the catch and try and cover up and protect yourself. And that's what makes the difference between playmakers and guys that aren't going to make the first string. And we're veering away from that. We're making it so it's on the defenders to protect these offensive guys when they can just jump, and go head first and know that if they get hit, they're going to get an extra 15 yards gained onto the play, and it's gonna mess up the whole drive. And that's the problem to me, man. You gotta teach yourself to protect yourself and to play smart and keep your eyes peeled. Know where the defenders are. Know where the ball's going to be. You got to just play smart. It really just comes down to that. The NFL is screwing it up. Yes.
Do you remember, Sean, when Hines Ward said, "Let's all take off our helmets and we'll find out who really wants to play football"? Do you remember that shit? Yeah,
I do.
that's what I'm talking about. I think honestly, you take the helmet off these people. I really do think you'll see much cleaner hits and you'll see a more violent style of football and a more technical style of football. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? JD, when QBs run, he should be when the QB runs, he should be a runner, not able to slide. Didn't we see that in the Buffalo game? Good point, JD. Where we saw what's his name? Josh Allen. Yeah, do that fake kind of slide shit that Kenny did in college that he made famous there. Didn't we see that shit? And what the hell, dude? I agree. I think if you're a quarterback, and I don't care if the Steelers quarterback gets his clock clean, if you are a runner, you are free freaking game. What do you think, Sean? Or do you think they got to protect their investment, the quarterbacks, because that's what matters most in the NFL?
As soon as you cross that line of scrimmage, it should be open game, open season. You are now, as a defensive player, you come across that line, you're challenging me. And I don't want you coming across that line, therefore I'm going to hit you. And that's the way it should be, no matter what position you play. We can't keep coddling these players and protecting them like that. And while you got running backs out here getting lit up by, they're lighting each other up, the safeties, the middle linebackers. It shows these guys are capable of hitting each other. It's just the NFL is becoming soft, man, and they got to quit, man.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And Robert Rowe brought up a good statistic. The craziest stat he ever seen was Johnny United's pass for a touchdown in 47 straight games when the rules were favored for the defense. Yeah, true. I just said they got to quit with their flags, though. I've seen Nick disagree with JD. They need to be able to still slide, but the flags are a little bit too much. I agree with that. Brian George, the money, the lawsuits, et cetera, they're protecting the funds. It sucks, and it's why mainly they think it's scripted, but it has truly changed tremendously the game of football. Dick has said to take off the face mask and defenders would stop leading with their heads. Absolutely. But guys, you're all right. It boils down to the money. It boils down to them protecting their investment. And that is exactly right, Brian. Lawsuits, shit like that. And thanks for subscribing, by the way. I appreciate that, Brian. Lawsuits, all that shit. I get it. People getting head injuries, that shit comes back up, those lawsuits, man, it's just getting soft for me at points. And I agree. That's probably why people think it's scripted for sure. Yeah, that is true, man. No doubt about it.
But you are right, man. Sometimes you got guys out there that don't care if they have a face mask. They don't care if they have the helmet. Let's all look back. Remember Brian Cushing. Remember that? He went up to that Browns player and just smashed his head right on that guy's helmet, and blood was coming down his face, and he was still all fired up. He wanted to go out there and kill somebody, and that's what we're talking about.
Rage, bro.
He's so
crazy, man. No doubt about it.
But was he not just fun to watch? Man, that's entertainment right there.
No doubt. All right, later, Nick. See you. Enjoy your meal.
Later, Nick.
My wife just texted me while we were on here. She said that I didn't have to pick her up because it snowed here where I live today. And I took her to work because she don't drive in the snow. So I took her to work. But she's like, come closer to 8 o'clock. So that buys me a little bit more time, thankfully. So sweet. I am into that. All right, guys. Anything else that you want to talk about, put it in the chat. Also, hit that like button for us. I truly, truly appreciate it. It is the freest thing you can do. It's the easiest thing you can do. Hit that like button and help out us homeboys here at Mike Drop Sports. I'd appreciate it. All right, guys. Let's keep on moving here. Anything else that you had, Sean, that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about Patrick Peterson earlier and how he just signed a 2-year contract with Pittsburgh, and he's only 1 year through it. And are they going to keep him around? Or are they going to get rid of him and give KZ more of a chance? Or is that a way that they can save some money?
Yeah, I just seen that when you said that about KZ. That sparked a little bit of something in my head here. I heard that KZ may be that third guy because Pat Pete might move back there, and I'm thinking that they're really strongly considering keeping Patrick Peterson in the fold, but as a safety. And I think that that is a big possibility. I know they could save on the cap, but I think Mike Tomlin really loves his leadership, really loves the way that he is in the locker room, in the building, and his knowledge of the football game and or the game of football. And I think that that's going to play a variable inside of whether they keep him or not. I don't think it's all going to be about money for sure. All right, guys, I wanted to bring up another thing when we were talking about that, Patrick Peterson, all that stuff, just where people are in the league. I keep seeing Baker Mayfield possibly maybe going to Atlanta, and that was a team that Mason Rudolph has been tied to. What do
Yep.
you guys think? Is that a good sign for the Pittsburgh Steelers with Mason Rudolph potentially having some ties to that team? With a guy like Baker maybe being tied to him, and the Atlanta Falcons aren't afraid to spend money, so they will. They've signed big contracts many times, and they ain't afraid to do it. What do you think, Sean? Does that help out the Steelers' chances with one of the few teams that have really been linked to Mason, maybe getting a different guy?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hopefully, they Atlanta does go out and reach for Baker Mayfield, who I like watching him play. He's a great quarterback. Yeah, if he goes there to Atlanta, then that helps the Steelers' chance of keeping Mason in Pittsburgh. And
Yeah.
obviously, I'm a fan of that. So let's hope that Atlanta goes for Baker, huh?
Yeah, I agree, dude. No doubt, man. I agree. I think that the more teams we can get out of that, I think it's the best for us, man. I
And
really do think that. What? Go
speaking
ahead.
of Baker, like I'm just gonna go ahead and say, I know we've all asked the question, but what was the Browns thinking getting rid of Baker Mayfield? The guy's the best thing that happened to them in the quarterback position, and they threw him out like a piece of trash. Now he's out there taking other
Yeah.
teams to the postseason.
He was so Cleveland, dude. He fit Cleveland. And they went
Yeah,
out and they risked their whole franchise's future. It's just typical, bro. Cleveland Browns doing Cleveland Brown shit, man. That's just what they do, man. They do dumb, dumb shit. And fans of these teams wonder why you don't win Lombardis. We're all over here as Steeler fans bitching because we ain't won a playoff game in a decade. And we feel like shit about that, in a long time or almost a decade, we ain't won a playoff game. And we're like sitting here bummed the shit out about it. You guys don't even have a championship in the Super Bowl era. Like, come on. Like, what the hell? And then they make dumbass moves like that. Baker doesn't need to be in Atlanta. Why is that? I hope he goes there. I hope he does,
yeah,
Brian. That eliminates a team for the Mason sweepstakes because I think Mason got some interest from some of these teams. All right, guys, hit the like button. We are moving along with our live show here on Saturday, here on Mike Drop Sports. And I'm Jason. That's Sean. In case you're new to the channel, we appreciate you for stopping through. We're just going through some rumors, talking about some stuff here. And just shooting the shit. Anything you guys really want to talk about before we start to wrap this show up? We typically go about an hour and we're over that now. So, anything else that you guys want to talk about, put it in the chat. What do you have anything or anything you want to talk about, Sean? Remaining. I'm going to fix my booth here while you're talking.
Oh yeah, no worries, brother. Nothing really new. My main thing that I was like excited for and reading about this
Okay.
morning was the Brendan Rice thing, and I think that he hasn't really been talked about very much, in the national media or anywhere. And I was kind of surprised to hear about that. And yeah, that was my main thing I wanted to talk about today. And it's kind of fun to find little gems like that might make it late into the
Yeah.
draft picks for people to pick up, and he might be one of those late round draft picks that come into the
Hmm.
NFL and shine, just kind of like Brock Purdy. And you
Yeah.
never know what you're going to get, brother.
You're seeing tons of these reports now too, Sean. This one by Mike Florio, uh, Pro Football Talk. He's even talking about the internal division over whether Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph should start for the Steelers. And I don't get though the internal division because they don't have Mason Rudolph signed. Until he's signed, there should be no division. So that must be a very heated conversation inside of that building and amongst
Yeah.
those teammates. Those guys are at that facility probably, man. Everybody comes in and out of there probably throughout the off season, working out and shit like that. Some guys disappear, but I'm sure there's a lot of guys still around the building doing football type shit. Football's a year-round sport now, guys. Robert Road, the Browns played Baker when he physically wasn't even close to being all right. Yeah, he did. But Baker Mayfield was tough as shit, Robert. And he went out there and he did it and he played. And I got to give him credit. I give credit where it's due. And Baker Mayfield deserved credit for being tough as hell, man. Really tough as hell. So are you
Yeah.
guys okay with grooming your young QB? In terms of Kenny, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I'm okay with it as long as it, works. But shit, if it don't work, you got to start moving off of it. That's my opinion. What
Well,
about you,
look at
Sean?
yeah, look what they did with Mason Rudolph. You know, they gave him a chance. He went out there and he struggled, and I mean, he showed signs of success, but he wasn't what he was what we just saw last season. And he went out there and he sat behind Ben. He sat behind multiple quarterbacks, Mitch Trubisky and even Kenny Pickett, and he's groomed himself. And others have helped groom him. And now look at him. He went out there, and now you got other teams interested in him, and he's about to make a multi-million-dollar contract somewhere. And so, yeah, I think it would do Kenny some good to sit behind a few other players for a few years. I mean, he came in as a
Yeah.
rookie and started taking snaps. So, I think it does players good to sit back and watch another person manage a game in the field and what needs to be done.
Yeah. I just read something interesting here while you were talking. I was like, listen to what you were saying, and it kind of goes, well, don't go with it, but like throughout our conversation here, it kind of jives. The Steelers are set in their ways, and they're proud of it. They get comfortable with certain players and coaches, and they don't like to change. That's fine, but there are moments where it makes no sense. That is from Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk. That is a quote from him in his article. What do you think about that, Sean? Are the Steelers too damn stuck in their ways? And do they even have the ability to change? Or do you think the new hire of Omar Khan, this being his second season, do you think that that's going to cultivate it and bring in a little bit of change, even though they have the longest tenured head coach in the NFL?
I think it's going to cultivate change. Yeah, I think they've already been showing signs that they're going to be making changes. They have made changes. They're going to continue to make changes. Bringing in Arthur Smith and drafting a quarterback, for their number one pick last season or the season prior to that. Firing a coach mid-season. These things weren't. They didn't happen often in Pittsburgh, and we're seeing changes already. So I think, they kind of hit the emergency button and they started making changes for once. And I think we're going to continue to see that until we get a dub in the postseason.
No doubt. Another thing from this article that I keep reading, it's so intriguing now to hear Mike Florio. He's a big Pittsburgh Steelers guy, grew up around the area. Um, he's talking about, yeah, so the Steelers, without a quarterback that's, at an elite level, they'll probably just be on the right side of 500, but, they'll probably be having an early exit if they would make the playoffs. Is this what we've become, dude? Just okay with getting your ass kicked and being fucking average. Excuse my French. I'll probably get demonetized for it for this show, but excuse my French. That's ridiculous, guys. What's up, D? I'm late, but what I miss? You missed a bunch, buddy. We're almost at 70 minutes, man. We ain't gonna be here much. I appreciate you for stopping by, buddy, for sure. JD says the
Yeah.
Steelers need a slot guy, so Rice could be a good pick. Sean, you are on it. I think you found a little diamond in the rough there, my friend. No
Yeah.
doubt
Thanks,
about it.
JD. Yeah. I agree, man. It might be good. Keyword might.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I don't know, dude. We see all these reports about the Steelers, them being okay with mediocre, being okay with not changing, being okay with just being average. Man, it's starting to really chap my ass, and I hope that this off season things start to change for sure, man. All right, man. I'm
Me
kind of
too.
running out of things that I can talk about. My voice is starting to hurt. It does
Yeah.
start about the 70-minute mark, man. As soon as we get to about 70 minutes, my voice is like dead. And when I'm by myself, holy shit, man. Brian George,
Yeah.
you know what the Steelers remind me of? Any Given Sunday. Yeah, that was a good movie, man, for sure. I
That
like
was.
that. Yeah, no doubt. With the quarterback puking and shit in the huddle. all over the place. That was funny as shit. Oh, that was Jamie Foxx. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
that was funny. I like the guy that went on top of the car with the chainsaw. Was getting all crazy at the party and
Oh,
cut the cab
yeah,
off.
Roid Rage. Roid Rage. That's Brian Cushing in real
There,
in the movie world. That was a portrayal of Brian Cushing for sure.
yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
JD. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. Yeah,
Thanks,
that was
JD, man.
crazy. Yeah. Hey, sorry, D. We're about to be done here, man. Sorry, dude, that you come in a little late. We'll get you next time. We'll be back on Sunday tomorrow. We probably will not have a live show since we did one today. So we will be back Monday with our live shows and we'll start cranking along. I'm sure we'll have Sean next week. Hopefully, we'll have Nova next week, too. That's just more guests, more people. We're getting a nice core group of guys here on Mike Drop Sports. What's up, Thomas? No worries. Yeah, no doubt, man. We'll get you, D. But we're getting a nice core group here, guys, and I really am happy with the new additions of Nova and Sean and just the way we've been. Well, Sean ain't really new anymore. We can't call you new anymore, Sean. You're here. You've been here for a while. You're an OG now.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I love
you
talking
can't be
football
called
with
new.
you, and I love talking football with everybody in the comments. Everybody, this is it's a good
fun.
time. I appreciate you guys
Yeah.
joining up, man.
Nah, no doubt. You guys make it so much fun. It's been a cool experience for sure, no doubt. By the way, Pittsburgh is the best city in the USA. Hey, man, let's go. No doubt. All right, Sean, we're going to be out of here, man. Thank you for coming on and joining us, guys. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you, my friend.
Thank
All
you,
right,
brother. I
dude.
appreciate
Until
it.
next time, man. Thank you. Until next time, I'm Jason.
And I'm Sean.
And this is Mike Drop Sports, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
All right. Take care, guys. Aloha.
You too, buddy.